Chapter 11. Out-of-Body Experiences. Then things seemed to settle more, as the wheels of time were slowly leading me into a new life, a new understanding, and a new path to travel on. I had mastered myself. I was not wasting my time as I had once thought. I was using my time now, and my reward would come in future years. It was worthwhile after all. A man was brought in to die, so the doctor said, "Put him beside Stephenson. He won't live until morning. He is a very good living man. The minister will be here soon." The minister came about 8:30. He made a nice prayer, and as he was leaving, he looked behind the curtain and exclaimed, "Oh, yes, I am still here. Well, I want you to know you gave me food for thought the last time I saw you. I would like to hear you talk of your philosophy of life, Stephenson. I think you have something we are seeking." I responded, "And if you found it, you would lose your job. Better stay as you are. Keep on selling your real estate in heaven. The people seem ready to buy." "What do you mean, Stephenson?" "Well, just this. That man over there is going to that place. Providing he has not committed too much sin. If he is sure where he is going, ask him if he really wants to go, and what he expects to find there when he arrives. Do you know what he will say, Reverend? He will say, 'I am too sick to be interested.'" The minister closed the conversation. "Well, good night, Stephenson. I will pray for you whether you believe in prayer or not." At about 2 a.m, a voice from the other bed came through the ward. The dying man was singing Going Home. His voice was sweet and strong until the final line, when it became weaker and weaker. The nurse came over to me with tears in her eyes. "What do you think, Mr. Stephenson?" "Isn't it beautiful?" I said. "He has gone to reveal the great secret. He's dead. Yes, he has passed on." She went to him, then pushed the red light. Soon the doctor was there, and they took away what was left of him, just a piece of human clay. A few days later, Dr. Wheeling came to me and asked, "Stephenson, what do you think of that deathbed singing? Just this. That was his favourite song. In his drifting into unconsciousness, it was registered in his mind. He gave off the vibration, and that brought his voice forth in strength until he used up all his energy. That is all. Just the human mind bringing forth a predominating thought." Dr. Wheeling commented, "Well, I have often asked myself the question, why? Now you have answered it." I continued, "As we live, so do we die. If we are wicked, we die a cowardly death. If we have been brought up in church, we know not of wicked thoughts. Therefore, the predominating thought comes through. But if a man lives quietly, watch him die. He neither sees hell nor sings himself into heaven. He has lived neither one nor the other, so he goes to his sickbed and dies as he lived. You see, as we live, most likely that is the way we will die." "Stephenson, you surely put things in their right place. But answer me this, when you were taken into the operating room, did you not have any fear of dying? You ought to be able to answer that yourself. Did you see any signs of fear in me? No. Do you know why? No, because I was in your hands, and you had no fear. Enough for this time, Stephenson. We will go deeper into this later. You see, I have had my own opinions of these things, but I never dared speak them. You speak without fear. I have no fear. I know the capacity of my mind, and I talk accordingly. Yes, you always bring this capacity into the picture. Why? Because so many people we meet today have had a sort of band placed around their heads, and the thumbscrews that contract it are tightened so much that expansion is nearly impossible. I know many things I've told you will never be remembered because not enough seeps in beneath the band to take root. But you have seen many people die. You will see many more, and you will find only one thing in the world that is universal. But the doctors of today are trying to make everything universal. It won't work. Then, Stephenson, what is this universal one thing? Breathing. If we cannot breathe, we can neither eat, drink, nor sleep. Think it over, doctor. Keep people breathing, and you will keep them living. Find the secret. There is one. All right. Your argument seems to put one on the spot where he cannot come back at you. One night there was a Russian man who came to me and said, "Mr. Stephenson, you know everything. I have father, mother, and 2 brothers in the old country. I have had no letter for 3 years. What is the matter? Why do I get no letter?" I said, "Well, I will tell you what I will do. Tonight I will go find your home in Russia, and I will get them to write to you." Soon after 10 o'clock I fell asleep. I went to Russia. I found his home. Here is what I saw. Two old people were sitting by a fire in the middle of the room. The floor was earth. At one side of the room sat two men in candlelight. Both wore uniforms. The older one had lost his right arm. I spoke to them in Russian and told them their brother was in a hospital in America and must have a letter. As he was worried sick, I told the younger man to write immediately. The next day the Russian man came to me and asked, "Did you go to my home?" "Yes, I saw your father and mother. I described the house, the furnishings, the dirt floor, and his older brother's missing arm. Then I said, 'You should get a letter in 10 days. On the 10th day his letter arrived. Everything was exactly as I had said. He asked, "But you talked to my brother in Russian." He said, "You did?" "Yes, there I could. Not here. I can only understand English." The letter restored him. He gained strength, put on weight, and left for Russia within 6 weeks. When he came to say goodbye, he said, "Maybe you are God." "Oh no," I said, "not your God anyway." He kissed my hand. He had told the doctors everything. Dr. Gurley said to me, "Well, Stephenson, what is Russia like?" "I don't know. It was dark when I got there." He laughed and said, "What a story." Chapter 12. My second operation. 5 more months had passed when one afternoon both doctors came in to see me. Dr. Wheeling said, "Well, are you ready for another operation?" "Yes, when you are." "Then start to get ready. We will take you at 8 o'clock in the morning." "All right." So I got busy, shaved my leg, helped bandage it up, and took my salts. By 2 o'clock in the morning there was nothing left within me. At 7 the nurse gave me an enema. Nothing but clean water. "That's fine," she said. So at 7:50 the wheelbarrow was brought in, and I was going for my second ride and a 5-hour sleep. This time I seemed to go out with a snap. I found out later that the nurse let a double portion of ether fall on my face, which knocked me out instantly. I did not know anything more until 6:30 that night. This time, the nurse said I never spoke a word. She was disappointed, because the nurse who specialed me the last time had told her to expect anything in poetry, but she said, "Never a word." About 8 in the morning the doctor came in. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Oh, I feel all right, but I'm as hungry as a bear." He inquired, "Did you vomit?" "I had nothing to vomit. I put everything I had down that sewer last night." "All right, then you can have a cup of your tea and 2 slices of toast." So I ate this, then fell into a wonderful sleep. The next morning I had no breakfast. When the doctor came in, I complained. The nurse said it was not on the chart, so she was not allowed to have it sent in. I got it later, then all my meals, but here I was in the ward again for 12 weeks more. I was well taken care of and got along fine. The nurse that had changed so much came in to bid me goodbye. She was going to a hospital in Philadelphia. She thanked me for what I had done for her and left a $5 bill in my hand. That's the last I saw of her. Chapter 13. Another new nurse at. This time I got another nurse, Miss Nancy Knupp. She was a proud little thing. At least, she tried to be. I knew the first time I saw her that she would be in my life for a long time. She took good care of me in her haughty way, but I let her alone until one day there was an Italian patient who got very nasty with her. This I could not stand, so I told this fellow if I could get out of bed, I would go to you and knock the lights out of you. I cannot get over to you, but I will shrivel you up like a rat if you ever molest that nurse again. Then I got another patient to tell him, that man can do anything he wants to, and if he says he can turn you into a rat, he can. That Italian never looked over at me all day. He would hide his head under the pillow at night. Then he asked the doctor to take him to another ward. He was afraid of that man over there. The doctor asked me what the trouble was. I told him the story, and he got a good laugh and moved the Italian into the other men's ward the next day. Yes, Nancy Knupp was in my life for years. In my third operation, she held my foot for 5 hours. Then they had to carry her out of the operating room. I was told this by the doctor, Dodlife went on. One thing after another. The doctor let me go home for Thanksgiving. That was in 1920. I did not feel at home when I arrived. I had been away from my family so long that even they did not seem to be what I expected. I had my Thanksgiving dinner at some friends, then Christmas at the same place. I was waiting anxiously for a call from the hospital, but it did not come. Then one evening, I think it was the 5th of January 1921, I was sitting in our kitchen when I felt a stinging pain in my leg, and out shot the dirtiest substance. I called the hospital to tell the doctor what had happened. He said, "You come back tomorrow." The next morning I took the train. The roads were covered with ice. I got to Windber all right, but had 6 blocks to walk to the hospital. I got within 2 blocks when my crutches slipped. My weight fell on my injured leg, and it snapped off at the bone graft. Having just one crutch, I could not walk any further, so I got on my hands and knees and started to crawl. I had crept about half a block when a man with a truck stopped. I told him what had happened, and he picked me up and took me to the hospital. The doctor then bawled me out for not calling the hospital from the station. "I thought you were a man of brains, but this time you did not use them." "All right," I said, "rub it in. You caught me off my guard, and I did not have my pipe." He said to the nurse, "Go get him his pipe." I know I bit the stem off it, but I did not make a sound. When he was through, he said, "Stephenson, you have the strongest willpower I have ever experienced in all my practice. Oh, it hurts, but not nearly as much as I suffered after my first operation." I was taken back to bed and lay there for 5 days. Then he gave me a wheelchair again.